I'm going to Urban Montessori. Urban Montessori. Urban Montessori High School.
I've been an educator in Oakland for 20 years. I've opened over 20 schools in this city, and I've never been more excited than I am about this school.
It's got a model that's different than any other charter school.
I am totally inspired by the vision of Urban Montessori to bring together Montessori design thinking and the arts.
So the fact that we're going to have a public Montessori school in a city like Oakland is just the best thing ever.
I love Montessori. I like Montessori this much.
There are tons of problems to solve in urban education.
The education system we have today was designed a long time ago when our country was in the midst of the Industrial Revolution. And the education system was born out of that and modeled after that, so that we got a system that looked like a factory. Children come in batches of age group, and they go through the assembly line, classroom to classroom, and bells ring. And they came out, ideally, all looking like the same end product. In the current era, I think everybody agrees that we're looking for our citizens of this country to be something different, to be creative thinkers, to be people who can collaborate across difference. And I don't think that the current model can achieve that.
You know, there's been a lot of press about the creativity crisis in the United States. We're falling behind, we're not going to come up with kind of the next innovations, whether they be science or technology, or even on social issues, that are kind of narrow focus in educational realms takes us away from encouraging children's creativity.
I think the Montessori method offers the ability to change the face of education. And if we can finally make it available to a broader audience, we can see education as a whole take a different direction.
I get to be creative in Montessori, making art. Do lots of challenging works. I love choosing my work in Montessori.
The model in Urban Montessori is the Montessori method, and it's really designed around children as people, children as constructors of themselves.
Through independence, self-direction in their knowledge and what they want to learn and how they want to learn it, it's a way of being able to educate yourself and actually have ownership for the direction of your life at a young age.
You learn leadership skills, you learn about grace, and you learn about courtesy, good communication and interaction.
How they feel about themselves, how they feel about their community, how they feel about the people around them, how together they make something greater.
There's this wonderful excitement that happens because they are, in addition to learning this knowledge and learning something new, they're starting to have this realization that, I don't know, that the world is their oyster.
The world's my oyster. Oysters are gross.
The team of people that are committed to forming Urban Montessori are also very committed to having a diverse environment.
We're trying to create a school that is racially and socioeconomically diverse. You know, as you know, many schools are segregated by race, by class, by culture. And so Urban Montessori is seeking to have representation from the diversity of Oakland.
Oakland is one of the most diverse cities that I've ever been in.
And it's diversity beyond just what your skin tone is like, what ethnic background you have, or what language you have. It's the diversity of the child and person's involved's mind.
We have to make sure that families who've never had access to Montessori as an educational option understand what the Montessori model is and ultimately join us to create this inclusive and diverse school.
There are going to be all sorts of different kind of kids. Everybody should get to go to Urban Montessori.
Sadly, in this country today, there are haves and have-nots in accessing a quality education. Urban Montessori is bringing a quality, creative education to the public sphere.
It's a matter of equity that not only some children learn to be creative problem solvers, but that all children are empowered to know that they have the tools to change the world.
I'm going to change the world.
A really serious challenge for Urban Montessori is that we are going to be opening our doors in the midst of severe underfunding for public schools in the state of California.
There are states where the per pupil funding is in excess of $16,000.
And we are currently looking at approximately $5,000 per child. It's possible that we could have an additional $300 cut per student.
State funding barely covers the cost of staffing a school in California, and there are little to no funds for startup schools. Given the inadequacy of state funds right now, we need to resource our startup phase because we're not yet at scale, and we need to build out our classrooms and ensure each classroom has a full complement of Montessori materials.
Urban Montessori really needs a garden. Lots of books for Montessori because I love to read. Look, it needs furniture.
What better investment than education? And then why invest in something that's the same old thing? Invest in something new, then you can be in on the ground floor and you can see something grow that you put a seed into.
Would you help us build Urban Montessori? Will you help us with our school? Will you help us build a school for all the kids in Oakland? Could you please give us lots of money? Can you just give us $1? We need $1 million! Please, please.
So imagine in 2019 when we graduate our first class of 8th graders.
These children will have a love of learning and will be able to thrive in a multicultural world.
They will have developed their own independence, that they'll feel comfortable in themselves to branch out to the community around them.
Giving kids more problems to solve, challenging them, allowing them to be creative, that they will be able to go on to be the kind of leaders who can solve problems and do it with creative confidence.
The opportunity that you will have had as a child in Oakland to have worked with your peers from across Oakland puts you in a really different position as you grow up to think about how you can contribute to your community.
If we're starting with these children and they're learning how to have good relationships with each other and they're growing up in K through 8 in Urban Montessori and then they pass that down to their children, it'll change a community.